Welcome to another edition of the Red Zone podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Point du jour, and on today's episode, I will be recapping the 38-26 Calgary Stampeders victory over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A really impressive victory at that. There was some good, there was some bad, so let's get right into it. And we start with that immaculate first drive that the Calgary Stampeders opened up with. They received the opening kickoff, Vernon Adams Jr. making his Calgary Stampeders debut, and it couldn't start off any better, going 5 for 5 for 85 yards and the touchdown. Mills ending it off, but he was just getting the ball out quick to his receivers, to Bagleton, to Clark Barnes, like to everybody. He got really everybody involved during the game, and it was really nice to see. I thought the touchdown would have went to Dominic Grimes, but there was a penalty, offensive pass interference, so it came back, but it did not matter because Calgary was still able to end it off with a Dedrick Mills touchdown. We'll get to him later because he had a massive day on the ground. The second drive also was good. It ended off with a field goal, but they were driving the ball. VA perfect 9 of 9 for 105 yards on those first two drives. So everything was going really well for the offense. It was clicking. Defense was, I thought they tackled well throughout the game and were forcing Hamilton to punt early. Couldn't really get anything going. So that was really good. Keeping everything in front of them. That was the game plan, not allowing Bo to go deep. But this is the first game of the regular season, and there was bound to be some mistakes that happened. And offensively, VA started throwing some interceptions, but it was because of some hits. The Hamilton blitz started affecting some of his throws, and he threw his first interception at the start of the second quarter. It was a hit from behind, causing the interception and affecting the throw. But luckily for Calgary, the Ticats had to punt on the ensuing possession. And then the second interception he threw late in the second quarter, again, he was getting hit while he threw, kind of sandwiched while he threw by two Ticats defensive linemen. But I feel like both of these interceptions could have been avoided, probably kept in the back pocket and taken the sack. Obviously, the hit from behind, he didn't see the defender and threw the ball and affected the throw. So that interception, maybe not. But the second one, I feel could have probably been avoided. Now we get to the turning point of this entire ball game, and it was, right before the half and at the start of the second quarter, those middle, 8 minutes as they're called. But for the Stamps, it was 2. And it's so important to win these minutes because it goes a long way to deciding the ball game if you can win these minutes by like 10, 14 points. So with about a minute left, the score was 11-9 for the Calgary Stampeders, and Hamilton had a third, and I think it's 6 or 8, and they had to punt. But I think the snap was off on the punt, and so he was forced to run because it was going to get blocked, and he did not get the first down, resulting in very good field position for the Stampeders. It was a short field just before halftime. It's basically a gift, and they were able to take advantage, get the touchdown, and Mills was able to get in the end zone for his second touchdown of the day right before that. I think there were 7 seconds left, so it was perfect. Now it's 18-9. Then a heads up play on the opening kickoff by the Stamp special teams to start the second half. Thanks to the wind, a kind of weird onside kick gets recovered by the Stamps, kind of a tip. It bounces up and then Calgary tips it, and they were able to recover. Another very short field for VA and that offense. And again, Mills ran down to the 1 yard line, leading to a PJ Walker touchdown, short yardage touchdown, and his first one as a Stampeder, making the score all of a sudden 25-9. So, in the span of literally 2 minutes, about 2 minutes, the game just flipped on its head, and now we got 25-9 lead. And that really put away the ball game for the Stampeders. Yes, Hamilton was able to score, even get a safety, which I think we're gonna have to work on, especially with the blitzes, as I said. But they were just behind too much, and the Stamps were really able to pull away and score 38 points on the day. Paredes, 3 for 3, just keeps getting better with age. He is the GOAT, so it was just too easy for him because there were some kickers that missed kicks in week one and that struggled. But Paredes, no problemo for him. Now, two more things I want to get to, and one of them is Dedrick Mills. He was awesome in this game. 17 carries, 94 yards, a trifecta of touchdowns in this one. He was just awesome all game. The Hamilton defense wasn't able to stop the run and really wasn't able to stop the pass because as we get to our final point here, converting on 2nd and 10 plus. This was amazing. This is the stat of the ball game for me. The Stamps went 7 for 8 on 2nd and 10 plus. That is incredible. 2nd and 14 converted to Beggleton. 2nd and 12. This one, it wasn't converted, but it was 2 yards short on literally a Superman play by Vernon Adams Jr. He tried to run and kind of leap for the first down. He didn't get it, but it was a great attempt. 2nd and 13 converted to Rhymes. 2nd and 10, Mills. 2nd and 14, Mills. 2nd and 10. It was just all conversions and 7 for 8. That was excluding one late in the ball game with about 2 minutes to go. There was a 2nd and 10, ran the ball with Mills for about a 4 yard gain. So, that one's not included because we're trying to waste time. But even the two that we didn't convert resulted in field goals. So amazing there. Obviously, you don't want that many 2nd and 10, behind the stick plays, but converting at that rate is very, very impressive. It doesn't matter what defense it's against. That was really impressive. I think that's a stat of the ball game. But yeah, that was a quick recap of the Stampeders 38-26 victory. And stats really don't tell the full story in this ball game. I mean, you look at Vernon Adams Jr.'s stats and you're like, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. I mean, it's okay, but it's not the greatest. But you actually watch the game, it's all different because you're converting on the 2nd and 10 plus. It's at 7 for 8, just amazing. And he was really affecting this ball game, scrambling outside of the pocket when the play breaks down, finding a receiver. He was awesome, and some stuff that was very different from last year with Jake Mayer. But that will do it for the breakdown of the Calgary Stampeders Week 1 victory. Let's get into my Week 2 predictions. We went 4-0 in Week 1. Perfect. Let's hope we can keep it up in Week 2. And we start with Thursday Night Football. We got the Lions at the Blue Bombers. No Zach Collaros in this one because of the suspension. So I'm thinking it will be Chris Streveler getting the start against a BC team with Nathan Rourke, who was on fire in Week 1, throwing 3 touchdown passes and looking like his 2022 self. I'm going to go with BC here getting the victory. I think Brady Oliveira will have his fingerprints on this game a ton, but that passing game might struggle. So I'm going to say BC picks up the win. On Friday Night Football, we have the Montreal Alouettes going to Ottawa to face the Red Blacks, and the Alouettes are coming off a Week 1 victory against Toronto. Very impressive one at that, holding them to only, 10 points, that defense. So that defense is going to be really, really good this year, should be near the top of the league. Going to Ottawa, who Drew Brown got injured near the end of the game. Hopefully he can play on Friday. I think he was limited at practice today, but hopefully he's good to go. He threw 413 passing yards in Week 1 in the loss to Saskatchewan. I'm going to take the Alouettes here. I think the Red Blacks are a really good team. They have a very good offense. That defense kind of struggled, so hopefully they can bounce back. But the Alouettes, man, whew, they are a really, really good team, and I think they should be able to beat the Red Blacks in Ottawa. And then two Saturday games, starting with the Stampeders visiting the Toronto Argonauts. And the Stampeders obviously trying to build off of a week 1 win. The Argos bouncing back, hopefully, off of a poor performance against the Alouettes. I'm going to take the Calgary Stampeders getting a win in Toronto, even though VA, historically has struggled against this Argos defense. I think they'll be able to run the ball with Mills because Sean Thomas Erlington had a really good game against them in week 1. You have to test that new defensive line in Toronto. So I'm going to go Stampeders winning that one. And then finally, ending off week 2, we got the Rough Riders and the Tiger Cats. Tiger Cats need to just have a better week. They just couldn't get out of second gear. Kind of a hint to my CFL tiers tomorrow. But yeah, they couldn't get out of second gear, and they were moving the ball okay, but then drops or they had to punt. Just really couldn't get the ball into the end zone enough. They're facing a really good Saskatchewan team that had 4 sacks in week 1. I think Saskatchewan should be able to take this game if they can just limit those mistakes, those fumbles, which I think are easily avoidable. They should get the win. So I'm going with Saskatchewan. I'm going with the Stampeders. I'm going with the Alouettes and the BC Lions all getting wins in week 2. We'll come back next week and see how we did. But 4-0, hoping to get to 8-0 now. But you never know. These games are so unpredictable, especially early in the year. But that'll do it for this edition of the Red Zone podcast. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Tomorrow is CFL tier, so stay tuned for that. But enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.